If you are over 70 and can still do a few of these small things, you might be living a more victorious life than many people half your age. Many people think that when old age arrives, everything turns into weakness, slower steps, fading memory, lonely meals, and a quiet house that once echoed with laughter. Sadly, society often makes older adults believe that their best days are behind them. But I do not believe that. I have met people in their 70s who still climb stairs on their own, remember what they ate yesterday, and laugh like children. And I realize that winning at this age is not about beating anyone else. It is about still being able to master yourself. Science tells us that when we keep our endurance, our memory, our balance, or simply the joy of cooking a meal, these are not just signs of health. They are proof of a spirit that refuses to surrender to time. So today I want to share 6 simple things with you. They may seem ordinary, but if you can still do them, congratulations, you are already in the Champions League of life. And by the end of this video, you may smile and say, I never realized I have been winning all along. Let me tell you about Harold, a 72-year-old man who lives in the suburbs of Oregon, where small roads wind through pine trees and morning fog drapes over the porches. He used to be a high school teacher, a disciplined man who believed that aging was the final chapter of strength. After 71 should slow down, rest, and wait, he once said at a class reunion. But later he had to admit I was wrong. It all started on a very ordinary morning. Harold tried to climb the stairs to get an old photo album. After just a few steps, his heart was pounding, his breathing heavy, and a familiar thought whispered in his head. I am getting old. He sat down and sighed. But when his eyes caught a photo taken 40 years earlier, the one where he stood young and strong, smiling beside his bicycle, he realized he still longed for that feeling. Not youth itself, but the feeling of still being able to do something meaningful. That day, instead of giving up, he tried again. This time he climbed more slowly, more deliberately, his hand lightly holding the rail. And when he reached the top, he smiled, not because he was not tired, but because he did not stop halfway. He said, I realize that as long as I can still climb a staircase, it means I can still move forward in life. From that moment, everything changed. He began to notice all the little things he had once taken for granted, cooking his own breakfast, calling an old friend, or remembering his granddaughter's birthday. Those small acts made him feel truly alive again. Every morning he would ask himself, what can I still do today that others think I cannot? And every time he found an answer, no matter how small, he felt victorious. One day I asked him, what made you change the way you see aging? He smiled gently and said, because I realized every small thing I can still do is a reminder that my body and my mind are still working. And when they are still working, it means I am still in the game. I have not left the field of life. That moment stayed with me because it taught me something profound. Aging is not when we stop living. It is when we start learning to be grateful for what we can still do. We do not have to run fast like we once did. We do not have to prove anything to anyone. We just need to know that we still can. Science agrees. A study from Harvard University found that older adults who maintain small daily activities like climbing stairs, cooking, or balancing not only live longer, but also feel 3 times happier than those who gradually lose independence. Why? Because when we remain in control of our bodies, the brain also maintains a sense of purpose and autonomy. That triggers higher levels of serotonin, the happiness hormone, and lowers stress and fear. I have spoken with many seniors and I noticed something meaningful. Almost everyone fears losing the smallest things. First, not their money or status, but the ability to do what seems simple, walking upstairs, remembering yesterday's meal, or laughing at an old story. They know that once those things fade, so does the feeling of owning their life. Yet what moves me most is that so many like Harold still hold on to that spirit. They do not cling to youth, they hold on to the joy of being alive. And that, to me, is true victory. You can see it in their eyes. People who still brew their morning coffee, pick their favorite meal, or feel grateful for the strength to take a short walk around the garden. These are not random acts. They are symbols of strength, memory, and gratitude toward life itself. I believe there is a great mistake in how we often view aging. We tend to measure it by what we have lost health time loved ones. But few pause to notice what we still have. A body that can still climb a few steps. A mind that can still remember yesterday's story. A heart that still feels joy when it hears laughter. Those are quiet victories no medal could ever match. Harold once told me 70 is not the end. It is the chapter where we start writing slower but deeper. I think he is right. Maybe we can no longer do grand things, but as long as we can still cook a meal, share a laugh, or call an old friend, we are still living actively, still winning in the game called time. Some people might disagree, saying, how can it be victory when the body is weak and the memory fades? But think about it, victory does not mean never falling. It means being able to rise again. If you still have the spirit to try to live a little better than yesterday, even by one small step, you are winning in your own way. When I see Harold practicing his balance every morning standing on one leg, or when he tells stories and laughs until tears roll down his cheeks, I realize those simple things are the new definition of victory. Perhaps aging does not take away our strength. It only tests whether we still cherish those small wins. So if you are listening to this right now, maybe you are 60, 70, or even 80, take a moment and ask yourself, how many of these 6 things can you still do? You may be surprised because your answer does not just reflect your physical health. It also reveals the spirit, determination, and resilience that time can never take away. Now let us discover together 6 small yet powerful things, quiet signs that prove you are still winning the game of life, even if the world tells you that you are slowing down. 1. Climb the stairs without losing your breath. If at 70 you can still climb a few flights of stairs without stopping to rest, congratulations. You are among the healthiest of your generation. Climbing stairs is not just a simple act. It is a natural fitness test that reflects the strength of your heart, lungs, muscles, and willpower. Scientists call it the daily endurance test, a predictor of longevity that is even more accurate than heart rate or blood pressure. A study from Harvard University found that people over 65 who can climb 3 floors of stairs without pausing have up to a 30% lower risk of heart disease. Why? Because when you climb, your heart pumps harder, your lungs expand wider, and your muscles coordinate beautifully to lift you upward. Your entire body becomes a living orchestra, and its rhythm reveals how strong you still are. But beyond the numbers is a feeling of quiet pride. Each time you choose the stairs over the elevator, you are choosing willpower over convenience. You are sending your body a message. I still want to move forward. Your heart may race, your legs may tremble, but when you reach the top and take that deep breath, you realize you have not just conquered a few steps, you have climbed one more level in mastering your age. That right there is your first victory. 2. Remember what you ate yesterday. When I asked a 74-year-old friend, "Do you remember what you ate yesterday?" she laughed and said, "Of course, a bowl of pumpkin soup with a slice of crispy bread." Her answer may sound simple, but it is a wonderful sign that her brain is still working well. Memory is not just about recalling facts. It is a mirror of the mind's vitality. When you can remember yesterday's meal, it means you are still living fully in the present. To recall that, your brain must process flavors, colors, emotions, and even the company you shared it with. All those sensations connect to form memory proof that your neurons are still firing strong. According to the Alzheimer's Association, 1 in 9 people over 65 experiences memory loss. So if you can still recall small details, a meal, a story, a laugh, it means your brain is still in the game. You can strengthen it further with simple habits: reading, solving crosswords, learning something new, or just sharing old stories with your grandchildren. Memory is the thread that ties us to ourselves. Every time you remember a moment, you bring yesterday's self closer to today's self. And when that thread stays strong, you are not growing old, you are growing deeper. 3. Balance on one leg for 10 seconds. You may think standing on one leg for 10 seconds is nothing special, but in medicine, it is a measure of longevity. A study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that people over 70 who can hold that pose for at least 10 seconds have a 50% lower risk of dying within the next 10 years. It makes perfect sense. When you stand on one leg, your brain constantly sends signals to your leg, your muscles tighten and release in rhythm, and your whole nervous system works together to keep you steady. It is a perfect harmony between nerves, muscles, and spatial awareness, the 3 keys to independence in old age. I remember Harold practicing balance in front of the mirror every morning. He told me, "If I can still stand tall, I know I still control my life." To him, this tiny exercise was not just physical, it was mental training. Because balancing on one leg is like balancing through the storms of aging, learning to stay calm, adjust, and not fall when life sways. And if you try it today, even if you can hold it for only 5 or 7 seconds, do not be discouraged. Keep practicing. Each extra second is one more heartbeat of life, one more step toward the freedom of mastering your body. 4. Still able to laugh from the heart? If you can still laugh, congratulations. You are holding a stay young forever medicine that science already recognizes. Many studies from Stanford University show that laughter can lower stress hormones, increase blood flow, reduce inflammation, and even improve memory. But laughter is not only a biological reaction, it is the language of the soul. As we grow older, life is not always as gentle as before. Friends pass away, grandchildren become busy, and the body starts to ache in places we once forgot existed. Yet if you can still burst into laughter when an old memory surfaces or smile when a familiar song plays, it means your spirit has not faded. I once met an elderly gentleman in Florida who watched old comedy clips of himself every morning from his younger days. He told me I laugh not because it is funny, but because I remember how happy I used to be. That sentence moved me deeply. It turns out that laughter is how older people have a conversation with the past. It is a declaration that says, I still know how to be happy. Therefore, if you can laugh from the heart every day, even for a few seconds, treasure it. Laughter is proof that you still have a heart that loves life, knows how to let go, and understands that even though life is short, it is always worth living. 5. Keep in touch with friends and family. There is something few people say out loud. After 70, what helps people live long is not supplements, but conversations. Science has shown that loneliness increases the risk of death at a level comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Meanwhile, those who have at least 3 close relationships live on average 7 years longer. I once visited Okinawa, where many elderly people live past 100 years old. They have a tradition called moai, a group of friends who commit to a lifelong bond, sharing joys and sorrows and helping one another in difficult times. I remember a 96-year-old woman named Aki who told me, "My longevity does not come from my genes. It comes from the dining table because every day I eat with friends." And you know this is true everywhere. When you still have someone to call to laugh with or even to sit in silence beside you, already possess a real elixir of life. Human relationships nourish both the soul and the brain. They reduce stress, stimulate dopamine, and remind you that you are still needed. If you still have someone to say good morning to, you have never been truly alone. And if you are the one who reaches out first, then you are not only living longer, you are living fully. 6. Cook yourself a meal. Few people think that cooking for oneself is a major victory, but if you are over 70 and can still stand at the stove, consider that a gold medal. Cooking requires strength, memory, and emotion. You need to stand firmly, coordinate your hands and feet, remember the recipe, and most importantly, taste the flavor of life through each dish. A study in Sweden that followed more than 3,000 older adults found that those who still cook for themselves had a 25% lower risk of heart disease and diabetes. It is not only because they eat more healthfully, but also because cooking preserves a sense of independence, which is one of the most important factors for mental health. Beyond science, I like to think of cooking as a ritual of love. When you slice vegetables, bring water to a boil, or season a pot of soup, you are telling yourself, I still have enough strength to take care of me. The sight of steam rising from the pot and the sound of a pan sizzling are not only the sounds of food, they are the sounds of life. Old age sometimes makes people feel useless, but as long as you can still prepare a meal with your own hands, you are proving that you have not lost your value. You are simply enjoying life in a slower and more complete way. When you have listened this far, you may realize something. True victories after 70 do not lie in how much money you have in titles or in what you achieved long ago. They live in the things that seem small but carry the strength of an entire lifetime. Climbing the stairs, cooking a meal, keeping your balance, remembering, laughing, and loving. These 6 things are not just actions. They are 6 living proofs that you still govern your body, your mind, and your soul. I have always believed that time does not truly take away youth. It only asks us one question. Do you still want to live wholeheartedly? If your answer is still yes, through laughter, love movement, and conversation, then you have already won. You have not lost to time. You have mastered it. Some say victory means standing on a peak, but I think differently. Victory is when you can still stand steady even when the peak is far behind. It is when you are grateful each morning you wake up and still feel excited for a new day even if your hair is silver and your hands tremble. True victory is not holding on to youth forever. It is keeping the flame of life inside the soul. I have met many elderly people whose faces are lined with wrinkles, yet their eyes shine in a striking way. In those eyes there is no fear, only the peace of someone who understands the most important truth: living long matters less than living meaningfully. And if you can still love, still laugh, still remember, and still walk, then you have found what many young people may never discover in a lifetime: the joy of fully existing. To me, every older person who dares to smile at a new day is a true champion. They do not live to watch time pass. They live to savor every beat of it. If you are hearing this, I want you to know you do not need to become young again. You only need to keep living in a way that makes your heart still move. A person who still knows how to love life is a person who has never truly grown old. If these words touched you, share this video with someone over 60 whom you admire, someone who quietly inspires you by simply living each day with gentle grace. Let them know that they are not alone and that wrinkles do not hide age. They are proof of a life that has loved, laughed, fought, and refused to stop. And if you are in that age, leave a comment and tell me how you are living, feeling, and winning. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because age may change our bodies, but it will never reach the spirit within. Let us build a community of people who never stop living, never stop loving, and never stop inspiring the next generation.